check it before you hate me. But when I'm about to flow in this statement, we took a need for injustice. Now people are flaking, so cops don't speak. This is human show. This is the criminal. Don't be big black pop 'em so I can go to my family. But what if I do the shot? Now his family is crying, another victim dying. All the justice to the press, I'm a son of a. Because I took a knee, but who's privileged and rich? Who built a country, got black blood and slaves of freedom? They stardom with no word to stay. My control devices, you don't want me to be silent. You wanna fight North Korea but can't find ISIS. You want me to stand for a flag, pledge allegiance, remove my hat. They really never have my back. Get through the military union like we disrespect them. You disrespect them every time they go and kill men. They never did nothing on the premise of freedom. But who started all these wars to determine the century? I'm gonna take a knee like cap. This is far from rap. It's for the murders of the people that we can't get back. Until you understand, this is not about a flag. It's about fixing the country. I don't care if you mad. This is about fixing us before we start a crisis. This is fighting white supremacy. That's why we so divisive, man. It's not about the flag. It's not about the flag. It's not about the flag. It's about to get justice, man. It's not about the flag. It's not about the flag. It's not about the flag. Why take a knee like that? White supremacy, the entity is systematic. Now you can fight it, and can face it, or exit the matrix. Just a history lesson before we came to this country. We lived all over the world and shaped it firmly from the Bible that's black and the Romans that too. For Babylonian to we built that too. First on the planet, check. Why chromosome check? You can hate me, but you really ain't told us yet. Well, we came from in Africa, but you want us to go. Let's just think as you feel. If you got on a boat, trapping in Cuban waste, and you chasing you shackled in a dude with a whip said, call me master, but you said in the evil when it came out, master with your person in Hebrew, but they beat that too. No more native tongue, changing communication. Then you force release without no hesitation. Then you freed us in the slave patrol, became the pole. Used to run for freedom, now we run it some more. We build up our community.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, Jesus. What is going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mac coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. I am starting at 8 o'clock today. I was a little, I was at other stuff going on that needed to get taken care of, so I just pushed it to 8 o'clock. But it's 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. You're on the West Coast. Get up, because you already know that the early bird gets the worm. So today, I'm going to tell you why I believe Jonathan Majors needs to leave Marvel alone. Let Colman Domingo play KANG. And I know this is going to be controversial to a lot of you guys. So hopefully you guys are happy. Hope you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gan over at the Heavy Gan channel. But you already know how I do. The real question is, hold up. Hold on. Testing one to see how this sounds. Okay. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Put it in the chat. I don't know what just happened to the okay. Give me just a second because I'm trying to get this together. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Let me know how it sounds in the mic. Give me a 1 if it sounds really good in the mic. Give me a 2 if I sound like crap. Again, testing. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, we sound good. In the microphone. Check 1, check 2. I can't hold back. I'm in love with you. All right, I'm in waiting for this thing to actually work like it should. All right. And if I'm
If I'm loud or anything, let me know if I'm too loud or whatever. You said, see, it's always a Mika G. You said it's in and out. It's in and out. Hold on. That's because it's just okay. You said the mic is in and out. Maybe I need to talk into the mic. All right. Let me know how this sounds. Test it 1 2, test it 1 2. If not, then I'm gonna have to switch it. Test it 1 2. Let me know how I sound. Give me a one if it sounds all right, because I'm talking into the mic. Two if it's not, and then I'm gonna have to switch it up. You said it sounds better than now that I'm in the mic. All right, test it 1 2. Let me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like stuff in my face like this. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. You said no Kane, no ticket. I don't care who plays Kane. I ain't watching Colman Domingo. It was Kangs. Yeah. You all right? You sound good to me. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we just heard word yesterday that Colman Domingo is going to be meeting with Marvel about a potential role. And for what I understand, he is playing where he's voicing Norman Osborn in the upcoming Spider-Man, whatever it's called. I don't know. I just know the animation is not that exciting, but you come from X-Men 97 to that. Hey, Marvel, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Marvel, do what you do. But Colman Domingo plays Norman Osborn in the Marvel Studios' latest animated series, but he also spoke to Marvel about an MCU role. So let me get into it, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why Colman needs to just go ahead and play Kang. I'm going to get to it because I guarantee you by the end, and again, this is just my opinion. Don't come and be like, you've turned your back on Jonathan and nigga. Nope, 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 nope. I'm giving you an opinion why I think Jonathan needs to move on from Marvel completely. And it will make sense because we got to go through the timeline of of the moves that Marvel made. You know what I mean? And I'm just strictly going on factual moves that Marvel made and logically thinking why I believe that Colman should go ahead, be Kane, be whoever you want, and let Jonathan go do his thing. So give me just a second so I can pull this up from Screen Geek. And we're going to get into the article first. And then I'm going to tell you my piece of the pie. What I believe, in this, or what I think should happen. All right, Colman Domingo plays Nora Osborn in the Marvel Studios' latest animated series, but he also has spoke to Marvel about an MCU role, which we already knew that. We were talking about this months ago, but now I guess he spoke with him again. So let's find out what is going on. Colman Domingo is one of those actors who guarantees a good to excellent performance in film, television, and or on stage. The man's presence burns a hole in the screen, as there has been plenty of evidence in his past work. He could be gentle or he could be challenging. He could be a monster or he could be thoughtful. Anyway, that you put it, Domingo makes it look as natural as breathing and effortless as putting on a hat. His rise as a recognizable star only continues to grow in Hollywood has been taken notice. And I'm not mad that they're boosting Colman Domingo up like that, because Colman Domingo is a very, very good talent. So I'm all for this. This guy does bring screen presence to the screen. So I'm not mad at that. All right, Domingo continuously works in film and television, and each role becomes more significant or prominent in entertainment. The actor is set to co-star in Michael Jackson's biopic Michael, directed by Antoine Fuqua, an untitled Steven Spielberg film, and is set to write and direct Nat King Cole's biopic. Domingo has already caught the attention of Marvel and is set to star as Norman Osborn in the Mega Studios' latest animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Though this is not the actor's first foray into comic book adaptations, check out Spotify and Warner Brothers Batman universe. The actor shares with us a noteworthy meeting between him and Marvel Studios about an MCU role. And again, we talked about this months ago. There was speculation that he was going to come in and be the recast of Kang. So that is something that we talked about before, and then I gave my piece. He could have came in as a Beyonder, at that particular time. I believe that, Marvel, if everything is done, Marvel should get him another chance. But I'm coming with a different perspective today. It doesn't mean that I don't believe what I said before, but I'm also giving another perspective why Colman Domingo should play Kang. And again, it will make sense when I logically break this down. All right. So it goes on to say, during this year's variety, 10 actors to watch, we were able to speak to Domingo directly, and he informed us that he has spoken with Marvel Studios about collaborating. When asked if he would be interested in working with Marvel, he said this. Hold on. Let's try to get that off of there. I had a meeting with Marvel, yes, but it wasn't specifically about anything. They literally sat down and said, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. What do you got for me? So we're having engagement, of course. Who would not want to be a part of the MCU? I just wouldn't want to be I just wouldn't want it to be right. And something that is created for me and somewhere where I feel like I can give something of myself to. So we'll find out what that is. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm patient. So let me read, because I kind of stumbled over it. Let me go back and reread this so we can kind of break down what he's saying. Of course, he's going to speak Marvel talk. He's not going to tell you, oh, they told me I could play Kang the Conqueror. They're not going to tell you that. You know what I mean? They're not going to say, oh, well, I'm coming in to play, insert another character. He's not going to say that. What he is going to say is enough for you to be engaged in, okay, Marvel wants to do something to him. He said, I had a meeting with Marvel, and yes, it wasn't specifically about anything. They literally sat down and said, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. What do you got for me? So we're having engagement, of course. Who would not want to be a part of the MCU? I just wouldn't want it to be right. I just wouldn't want it to be right. I just wouldn't want it to be right. And something that is created for me, and something where I feel something, and something that is created for me. Watch that part. And something that is created for me, and something where I feel like I can give something of myself to. So we'll find out what that is. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm patient. The part that caught our attention was that was what wasn't said. There is no mention of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but the actor and the studio shared mutual desire to work together. This led us to think who Colman Domingo play in the MCU, and how can they make it happen? Before I say anything, I'm going to tell you right now, no, damn it, no. Give Professor X back to white folks. Stop it. Let somebody white, bald-headed play Professor Charles Xavier. Stop it. I don't want this to happen. But let's just go. Let's just go through it. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to read through it, and then I'm going to give you my stuff later. All right. Marvel Studios has been geared up to bring the X-Men back to the big screen for a long time. There is yet to be any casting, directing, scripting, or costume concept news. President of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, said in a recent interview, the X-Men are an important part of the future. When referring to the MCU, casting must be correct to capture Professor X essence, personality, and nature. One must look at Colman Domingo. One must look at X-Men 97 and be like, we just want a version of that to be on live action. Again, stop race swapping all these characters when you have all these black characters that's out there that he could be playing. Again, like I said, I'm going to tell you why, what the whole Marvel thing is about. Domingo past work has brought to roles where this character is seen as a mentor or teacher. At HBO's Euphoria, he plays the Deus character sponsor Ali. The character came from experience and would become someone who would be looked upon for guidance. Furthermore, his role as Bayard Rustin in 2023's Rustin was a figure that led his friends and colleagues towards a cause during the civil rights movement. The actor has played these roles with care and understanding of the importance of their representation of audience. Lastly, Domingo fully embraces the idea of his character and being their advocate. In an interview with Backstage.com, the actor states, I think when acting is done well, you're connected to every character that you play. You have questions about the character and then you want to fight for them. You want to be their advocate. This quote leans heavily on Domingo playing his character to the best of his abilities and feeling a strong bond with them. Something needed to play an influential character like Charles Xavier. Norman Osborn. Again, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let it cook, and then I'm going to go back over this. I got some big shoes to fill. I remember watching William Dafoe's Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, who is phenomenal. And I thought I get to actually really just play his intelligence and looking at the mind and how he builds, especially with his industries, and then how that also becomes narcissistic. It also becomes a detriment as well. I've always looked at Norman Osborn's character as being a symbol of mental health when it's unchecked. On the character side of the spectrum, Colman Domingo can play and has played characters with complexity. He played Bruce Wayne, Batman, in Spotify's WB's The Riddler, Secrets of in the Dark, and Batman Unburied Fallen City, a well-known comic book character who continues to struggle with duality and always teetering on the edge of insanity. Osborn has always been seen as a villain who carries an internal battle, who still leans on the side of evil with manipulation and knows how to bend people's will to his needs. The character tactics align with the psychological warfare and how to break a charter. Domingo is no stranger to this. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this, but let's just keep going. Mephisto, because it's a lot. The only let's see, out of all the characters, Brother Voodoo, hold up, Brother Voodoo was the only black character that out of all, let's think about it like this, Screen Geek, with all the black characters you have in Marvel. Let me say this again. With all of the black characters that you have in Marvel, you chose 4 characters to race swap before you got to the black guy. This is the thinking. Screen Geek is exactly the thinking of Marvel. And the reason why I say that, because again, you could have had someone like Jonathan Majors play Blue Marvel. Now, we love him as Kang. We love the character that, his performance as Kang. But if I had to choose, I would want him to be a black character that has significance to Marvel Comics. The significance of Blue Marvel to Marvel Comics is a story that talks about the racism and how they had to hide the black superhero. No different than what they did with Isaiah Bradley. You know what I mean? But what you can pigeonhole Isaiah Bradley being to an old black man, you can most definitely elevate into the stratosphere along with Black Panther with Blue Marvel. That's who Jonathan Majors could have played. But he played Kang, and okay, there's what it is. You know what I mean? But there's so many black characters that's out there. They waited to the last one to say, oh, you know what? Brother Voodoo's out there. Not other black characters. I mean, not the bishops and I mean, I think he's too older. He's an older gentleman to play like Night Thrasher, but there's still other black characters that's out there that he could have played. Now, let's get to Marvel. And why I believe Colman Domingo should just play Kang, and I believe Jonathan Majors should just move on. And the reason why I'm saying this is for the simple fact is that Marvel had no problem trying to get rid of Kang the Conqueror or the multiverse saga and try to blame it on Kang as fast as possible, right? Let's not forget that Marvel, before the sentencing, this came out in November, this article So again, I'm trying to bring context to why I think Jonathan Majors needs to just leave Marvel and Disney alone. Leave Marvel and Disney alone. Why am I saying this? Let's go all the way down because again, this was the Variety article. We didn't get halfway to this thing. Now, remind you, they said this past September, Jonathan's situation happened in March. This is September. They said the past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, Bob would have been confident, even cocky, but given how the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. But this occasion was angst ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from a series of disappointments on screen. Now, again, you see on screen, and then they get to a legal scandal involving one of their biggest stars, and questions about the viability of the studio's ambitious strategy to extend the brand beyond movies into streaming. But they said the most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat is what to do about Jonathan Majors. We didn't get halfway. Let me tell you this, and this is why I said Jonathan should leave Marvel alone. Because I'm going to break this damn thing down because this came through Variety. So that means somebody at Marvel had to go and talk to Variety and let them know. And then remember, Variety, Deadline, Rolling Stone, all those people were headhunting Jonathan Majors because they felt that he was guilty of assault. And then to come to find out he was not guilty of assault. You see what I mean? And again, this is something that as much as I want black characters to be on screen, I'm noticing a pattern about Marvel. I'm trying to tell you when it comes to the black characters, the black actors, Sam Wilson, what's his name? Anthony Mackie aside. I'm talking about everybody else. And I'm going to get to this super chat. Because in this Variety article, they made Jonathan Majors the scapegoat. Tracy Woods with the $20 super chat. Thank you so very much, Tracy Woods, for the $20 super chat. Jonathan and Colman are great talents, but it's time for Jonathan to move on as the Kang, as the Kang character. It's too much has happened. I don't trust Marvel. Period. Recast T'Challa. Yes, and I'm gonna get to the biggest red flag, and this is really just the red flags of Marvel. And while I believe this is just my opinion, this doesn't reflect the opinion of anybody else. You know what I mean? Nobody else. This is my opinion. So I have to get that disclaimer before people start, getting on platforms and telling folks all kinds of other crazy stuff. This is just my opinion. Right? So let me and again, thank you so very much for that super chat. You know what I'm saying? I got you. Y'all ain't gonna like this, but I gotta bring it back. Body roll.
Super chat. Body roll.
All right. Again, Tracy Woods, thank you so very much for that super chat, that $20 super chat. All right, so they immediately brought this on Jonathan. Before you even said the disappointments on screen with movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp or the Quantumania underperforming like every other Ant-Man movie has done. They didn't blame Paul Rudd. They didn't blame the writers. They didn't blame the directors. What to do with Jonathan Majors because he's in a domestic he's in a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges. That's what they decided to do. Remember that. They had to, Variety makes its own articles, but I'm telling you, somebody at Marvel let this be known of what's going on and let them know it's Jonathan Majors thing. It's our biggest star. What we gonna do with him? But listen to this. Just listen to the way that Variety, which is a Hollywood trade, along with the Hollywood Reporter, along with Dallas, is a Hollywood trade. Look at the way that they framed Jonathan. Listen, just listen for a second. Look at the way that they framed Jonathan. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage of his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of its interlocking slate, sequel, spin-off, and series around Major's villainous character, Kang the Conqueror. It has four. I'm trying to tell you. Look at the details of what they're saying. They're trying to say that a misdemeanor reckless assault charge was the reason why they wanted to refocus everything. If that's the case, why did Marvel wait to the day of the sentencing when it was not guilty on assault, but guilty on third-degree reckless assault? Which means he didn't even intentionally try to hurt nobody anyway. That's not the same as intentionally trying to beat somebody's ass. You know what I'm saying? To put in boost asses. That's not the same thing. But Marvel decided that they wanted to get away from Jonathan Majors, right? While also protecting other people in Marvel that have either been accused, and I don't care how significant. Stop coming to me talking about, well, you know, when the lawsuit came against what's his face? Vin Diesel, he just says I'm Groot. You could get anybody to say I'm Groot. Yeah, it don't matter. Is he an employee or not? Is Vin Diesel an employee of Marvel? Yes or no? Put in the comment section. Is not Groot an important part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is he or is he not? You let me know. Stop playing with me when I'm talking about this stuff. Because he is just as important. Now, I don't care if he's saying I am Groot, whatever he's saying. He's just as important, right? But Vin Diesel had a detrimental lawsuit against him while still working under Disney, right? I'm just going to go into the context. I'm going to go into the context of why Jonathan should leave it alone. If there's something and if there's something over for James Gunn, if they decide to bring on Jonathan Majors, I'd rather him go over with Peter Safran and James Gunn, because Disney did nothing about Vin Diesel's, you know what I'm saying, lawsuit. They didn't say nothing. They didn't drop him. He didn't get fired. He didn't get anything. Nothing. And this is a major allegation. This ain't something to be taken lightly. Is y'all tell me in the comment section, is this not a major allegation for a guy who has a franchise with the Fast and Furious to be associated with? Shouldn't something like this, you know what I mean? Should something, if this is why I talked about the hypocrisy. Shouldn't something like this should be brought to Disney's attention and be like, you know what? We can't be associated with somebody who is accused, who has a lawsuit of this. They did Jonathan Majors that over a finger. Understand where I'm coming from with the hypocrisy of Marvel right now. They could not wait to fight. They was waiting. Soon as I don't care. I guarantee you, if he would have just got that seat, if he would have been found not guilty on all charges except the third-degree assault, the third-degree harassment, which is not a crime in New York. Yes, Disney owned Marvel. But remember, this lawsuit is assisted in. So in this lawsuit, because I did a video on this, in this lawsuit, he did this back then, and she's bringing up the lawsuit. She brought up she brought up this lawsuit on December 21st, 2023. Guess what happened in December of 2023? No, matter of fact, in November, was it November 2023? Remember Jonathan Majors got fired after he went to court and they found him guilty on third-degree reckless assault, a non-intentional assault, reckless assault. in a city citation of harassment. But in December, this lawsuit comes out in 2023, and they didn't make any bones. Nobody said anything about Vin Diesel being fired because of the allegations that he had. I'm telling you about the biasness and why Jonathan needs to stay far away. Just leave them alone now. Leave them alone. Because I'm going to show you the hypocrisy. Why would you want to be hired back to a place with that much hypocrisy? I got more tea. I got more tea. So we got that, right? So again, if we're just talking about allegations, right? And I told you I wanted to show you the Variety article, because remember, the Variety article was saying because of Jonathan Major's legal battles, there's no way they can keep going with Kang the Conqueror. No, there's no way. There's no way that you could go along with what's going on with Kang the Conqueror, right? Now, mind you, whatever that was saying. Now, mind you, I don't know what this is, but this was August the 4th when this article came out. I think this is a Hispanic article, but I'm going to show you this. Ain't that Hawkeye? That's Hawkeye, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's Hawkeye. Now, again, love Jeremy Renner's work, just like I love Vin Diesel's work, even though sometimes it's whack. But understand where I'm coming from. And thank you, Robert D. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Hit the like button, because I'm trying to cook with good grease. Not the old grease that's been sitting on your stove for a while that need to be thrown out, to my fresh grease. Now remember, this article came out on August the 4th, or it could have been April the 8th, because this is it. But I mean, this is a Hispanic one. But anyway, Jeremy Renner, known as Hawkeye from the Marvel Avengers, but his past is shrouded in controversy and drama. His marriage to Sonny Pacheco ended in divorce, sharing custody in the court battle. During a divorce settlement, Pacheco made serious allegations against Renner, including physical abuse, drug abuse, and death threats. She claimed that Jeremy emotionally, physically, and sexually abused their daughter, as well as placed a weapon in his mouth and threatened to pull the trigger. In response to these allegations, Renner denied everything and accused Pacheco of mental health and substance issues. He even underwent random drug tests and hired a mental health specialist to prove he could provide a safe environment with his daughter. Renner's team also accused Pacheco of taking advantage of Renner's fame to attempt to extort more money from him. According to TMZ, Renner's team put together a timeline of his film releases and the history of Pacheco allegations against him, putting suggesting that Pacheco plans her attack to bring Renner's bad press during his movie runs. Now, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't it sound familiar exactly what Jonathan was saying about his innocence? Let me go back to the article and why I'm just going to show you the hypocrisy. Now, again, Vin Diesel, not fired. Jeremy Renner, it's his wife. It's his wife. But when you go here, back to this here, the actor says he was the victim, but damage to his reputation, the chance that he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider. But what about the damage to Jeremy Renner? Oh, you know what? They didn't put out a lot of information about Jeremy Renner because of his legs. Oh, y'all forgot that in the midst of everything that was going on, my brother almost became Professor X. Y'all forgot about that, right? That was so, and I hate that happened to him. I'm not saying, but the story was, oh my God, Jeremy Renner, he almost lost his legs. He got to learn how to walk again, which is terrible. Terrible. Not taking anything away from that. God bless that brother. Right? But look how the narrative switched. Jonathan Majors literally broke up a fight, and they was trying to tell us, the audience, that this was fake. Jonathan Majors starts dating Megan Good. You know what they say? It's fake. So when it comes to black people, and especially with Jonathan Majors, since he did date a white woman, let's be honest, then look exactly how his optics change because he dated a white woman. Right? Now, the good thing about Colman Domingo, you ain't got no problems with that. He's part of the LGBT community. He has a white or Hispanic husband. You ain't got to worry about that. Let him be in the MCU. Let him be Kang the Conqueror. So he doesn't have to worry about all the other stuff that comes along with the hypocrisy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He don't got to worry about that. I talked about Tanaka Awarta in his legal troubles in Mexico. We talked about the Ramar Patar, whatever you pronounce his name, that was Miss Marvel's daddy. Right? We talked about that. Nothing happened to his career. Right? But look at the way, and Torian, you're absolutely correct. The way that you framed it is absolutely correct. The optics. Black man, white, British, blonde hair woman. This is like Jack Johnson and the Man Act all over again. Absolutely. So what I'm saying is, why would Jonathan be happy? Yes, eternally, he probably wants to bring that character some closure. But business-wise, why would I want to deal with a company that these are two actors that have significant roles in the MCU. Vin Diesel, I don't care how many times he just says, I am Groot. I don't care. He is literally a part of this franchise. They still do the Baby Groot stuff. He's still an employee. Why is it okay for Vin Diesel to come up with all these allegations? Did we prove them or not? They were true? We don't know. But remember afterwards, after the sentencing, the Jabari tribe member named Grace from the mountains came through and said, I'm going to put a lawsuit against you. For what? Defamation. And for what? Assault. And then now that everything is now done, now that they settled it and she decided to pull back the lawsuit, where are the varieties at that can literally say, I think this wasn't just because of Jonathan, but they probably made a big mistake now that he got all the legal situations over. All the legal situations over with. Where's the Variety article for that? Where is the Variety articles? Where is the Deadline articles? Where's the Rollers? Where's Cheyenne Whitetree at? So Cheyenne, I'm sitting there staring at Cheyenne in court. Staring at her. She was sitting down. I was on the opposite side. I was like, oh, that's Cheyenne Whitetree right there. With her head down, not paying attention. Don't want to see who we are, nothing like that. But where's the articles that say, you know what? She dropped the lawsuit or they settled, whatever, and they can't disclose the settlement. Remember, because the key word in there was with prejudice. So they can't discuss it. So again, why would, if you can't say, you know what, we were wrong, this is a Johnny Depp situation where we may have jumped the gun a little bit on this. No pun intended, because that's what happened to James Gunn. But see, James Gunn got his job back. They were trying to get Johnny back, but Johnny was like, nah, I'm straight. Why shouldn't Jonathan follow the same suit? Let Colman Domingo play in this universe who don't care about black characters, don't care about the black actors. They're still doing reshoots right now on a movie that comes out in 2 months. Captain America. Did you ever hear any other Captain America movie having this many reshoots? Understand what I'm talking about real quick. That's just like your job. All of y'all, Craig, and I'm gonna get before I get to that, Roberta, thank you so very much for the $10 super chat. Channel support. We don't put new wine in old wine skins. I love that. I love that. Let me get you, because I already know what you be doing.
Gang banging, gang banging, gang banging.
Thank you so very much for that $10 super chat, Roberta. Yes, Johnny Depp got an opportunity to tell them the hell no. He got an opportunity to be like, nah, I'm straight. They couldn't even go to Jonathan and give him a phone call. They couldn't even give him a phone. Think about this for a second. Lawsuit dropped. You got a city citation. It's not even a crime. You have a misdemeanor. Why do you think he keeps saying, I'm just a guy with a misdemeanor? I'm just a guy with when he was on TMZ. It's just a misdemeanor. It ain't like he shot somebody. We all know a famous actor who shot and killed somebody on set. And they still try to look for him work. But I told y'all then when I did this article that we're going to blame everything on Jonathan's situation. But they didn't give him grace. That's the one thing that he said y'all never picked up. Johnny Depp and Mr. Miller got grace. Again, this is just Marvel. The reason why I did not bring up Ezra Miller, because they were going to let Ezra do what he do in Warner Brothers, because it's let's be honest, Warner Brothers is a crap show. It's the Warner Brothers, because they kept getting bought out and they didn't know what to do with their division. That's why Peter Safran came on to run the DC side away from Warner Brothers, away from what they got. Time Warner, whoever owns inside it, they got that rid of that. So that's why Peter Safran runs that part, and James Gunn is running the actual show. But again, while we're for the sake of argument, we already talked about Ezra Miller, and Ezra Miller had way more stuff going on than Jonathan could ever think of. They never thought about not putting out that movie, knowing damn well they was getting ready to end the DCU. You get ready to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Right? They're just getting rid of it. But they still put out that movie. No Batgirl. It was like, now we got to start Batgirl. No, they wanted to book in the DCU, and no matter all the crap this dude was doing, real life out here, Reverse Flash. No matter what all this stuff dude was doing, he was still out here doing the fool. But again, look at this. Look at this. Just look at this. This is just his stuff. This is just him. Miller arrested on second-degree assault charges. See what I mean? Accused of, look at the stuff this dude was accused of. You know what Warner Brothers didn't do? Fire him. Amber Heard. They might have put her as a background character, but what they didn't do, fire him. So why does this bring me to Jonathan? Why does this so much bring me up to Jonathan Majors and why he should move on? The reason being is because the blatant hypocrisy of hiring a Josh Brolin, the star, the lead guy in Marvel that they just gave $75 million to, Robert Downey Jr., was out here a whole crackhead, breaking into people's houses, sleeping in little kids' beds, just destroying himself. No different than what we just seen the president's son, a whole crackhead who got pardoned. But then you got people that's out here with minor non-offensive charges, can't get a pardon. I'm bringing this up. Why would Jonathan, as much as he knows about Black history, because he won a Coretta and he got him a Coretta. Now you know that You know the significance in the history of this country. Why would you want to go back to that when they're already showing you who they are? Why would you want to subjugate yourself to beg for a job? Jonathan shouldn't have to beg for his job back. They should be begging him. He's the one who was looking at Oscar, that was looking at Oscar buzz for Magazine Dreams. Robert Downey Jr. had to go play in Oppenheimer to get an Oscar. And if everything would have went well, Jonathan would have been in consideration and probably would have won. Think about it. Think about it. Why would I want to subjugate myself to go beg for a company who's done nothing with Monica Rambeau, won't recast T'Challa, the #1 black superhero in all of comics, won't recast him? Look what they're doing with Brave New World. All the tests, screenings, trash. Let me say it again, trash. You got Daredevil coming. You got oh man, we're getting the Netflix guys over here. Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, no Luke Cage. I keep telling you, there's no way in the world that I should go to these people and beg for my job. Yeah, would I like it? I would. Let Colman deal in that playground. Because I believe, and you should believe also, that based on Jonathan's talent alone, he don't need Marvel. Marvel needed him. They seen The Last Man in San Francisco. I'm like, damn, I can use that guy. They seen him in Devotion. Damn, I can use that guy. They seen that, right? That's why they wanted to sign that $20 million contract and let's do this. Let's do this multiverse thing. See, I believe Jonathan is a big enough talent, a strong enough actor that he don't need the MCU. Exactly, Torian. Exactly, Dr. Carpy. So it's no good things. Matter of fact, aggressive relaxing, because you like to come in here and troll. That's what you like to do. So let me do this before I let you guys go. Because while they're in the midst of reshooting, have you heard good things? Here, this was October 7th. Hold up. Is this? This is comicbookmovie.com. Let me just pull this up. Captain America, Brave New World, possibly undergoing more changes after the third round of test screenings. 3 rounds. Remember, this is supposed to be the MCU. You don't need to have 3 test screenings and be like, you know what? We might need to go back to the drawing board. We might need to add a scene here and there. We might need to do something different. It really does seem like Marvel Studios is struggling to get Captain America Brave New World to a place they're happy with, or at least a place they feel general audiences will be happy with. According to the insider Daniel Reichman, a 3rd round of test screenings for the movie recently took place, and yet again, the feedback was mostly negative. Reitman believes that more changes will now be required, but Marvel may have already taken care of the necessary additional photography. No, I don't want to. How can I stop this? Reports that the fourth cap adventure was set to undergo more reshoots were recently confirmed when star Anthony Mackie was spotted shooting new scenes for the movie in LA. There was speculation that these might simply have been a few minor pickups, but it's also starting to sound like they may have been more extensive. If this movie was supposed to be what people say it is, right? Why is they having 3 rounds of test screenings and all of the test screenings have been boo-boo, where they had to go back and reshoot? I'm not hearing this about the Thunderbolts. Just saying. I'm not hearing this about any other movie. And I told you, this is Anthony Mackie's time to become a Hollywood A-list star. But will Marvel do right by him? Now they're doing tests, they're doing, reshoots and all that, and it may not be him. It may just be a crappy story. This is what it might just be. It might just be a terrible story. But will they do right by him is the question. Would they make him the next star? That's the question. And what I've seen, when a brother gets to this plateau, his character gets killed off. So why should I believe anything that Marvel is doing now? Why should I believe it? We have seen the fruits of Marvel's labor the last 2 years. It's been some hits, but it's also been some, I'll talk about straight. You ain't even true. You Mike Tyson this. You Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. I could go for the knockout punch, but nah, I don't want to. I'd rather entertain y'all with crappy writing. You know what I'm saying? And bad CGI, because I don't want to pay the guys that do my CGI. I don't want to pay the effects studio. And then I get mad because they unionize. And again, my question is, why would Jonathan Majors, a guy that is that talented, be subject to something like that? There's plenty of other franchises that he can be a part of that's not the MCU, and it could be awesome. There might be other, independent superhero films if we want to get into that. If he wants to play a villain in an independent superhero film that might become a franchise. I want another Harder They Fall. That's how good the movie was. What I'm saying is, Jonathan don't need Marvel. Did it make him a bigger star than what he was after Creed? Hell yeah. But he don't need that, because he's that great of a talent that they need him. And if they don't understand that, then I don't care. Jonathan didn't need y'all anyway, because look at the way you treated him.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
If Marley Marl, they might. Not saying they won't, but 3 test screenings, and you're throwing duds. You out here, that's ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. You throw one more, somebody walking. And the movie doesn't come out. The movie comes out February. What? The Black Captain America film comes out on February 14th in the middle of Black History Month. And my man ain't in the red, black, and the green. Just saying. All right. It's not our money, not Disney. See, it's not, but I'm a consumer. Marley Marl. And when you're a consumer, you purchase stuff with your money. I purchased a ticket to go watch a movie. I purchased merchandise to put on so I could go see said movie. Every time that I go and watch an MCU movie, I go buy some type of merch that represents the movie that I'm going to buy, that I'm going to go watch. Right? So if I'm the consumer and you're putting out crappy product, should I be the consumer again? It is my money, because every comic book that I buy, every Hasbro action figure that I buy for my collection, right? Everything that Marvel has is under the DC umbrella. It's my money. And obviously they haven't been cooking very well. Secret Invasion. Tell me, you got some of the best talents in the world in Secret Invasion. What did they do with that? Look what they did to Amelia Clark character. I mean, is she supposed to be the Super Scroll? She's the most powerfulest character in all of Marvel right now. How much you want to bet that she does anything of any significance going forward? All I'm saying is the track record shows what it is. You said don't buy action figures, it's just a waste of space. Sorry, my man. Here, let me just. Sorry. You see that? You see that over there? You see that? You can call it a waste of space. I call them the nerd kingdom. All right, let me let you guys get up out of here. Thank you so very much for tuning in to another episode of the Drake Mack Show. Hopefully you understand why I believe Colman Domingo should play KANG and Jonathan go ahead and do, what he, do something different. What do you guys think? If you're watching this on a replay, make sure that you put it in the comment section below and let me know how you feel. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power, y'all. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Where's my outro at? Let me get up out of here, boy, because good God almighty. Whew. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Huh. Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.